but I am excited that you guys are all here. I do have a couple of announcements I do want to start with. This is our time slot for our typical Volunteer Genealogists Committee Zoom meetings, and those are held the third Tuesday of every month at 2 o'clock. We also have an additional one for those diehards like myself and a few others in the room that want more, and then also those that are working or have obligations throughout the week. And so that one is Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And yeah, there's a few of us here, well, Darlene especially, and I that are there both meetings every month. And we are building great relationships and learning a lot of variety of things as far as not just research. The Volunteer Genealogists Committee is there's a focus on education. And so a lot of times we look at methodologies or tools that are available, but we also have a focus on what the DAR is expecting out of us for how they want an application put together, their standards. And those can be kind of challenging because they change. So we have to be ready to change with them and get a venue, an avenue for that information to be shared. And that's what that's all about. Now, the regular meetings are always, hi, Cindy.
Hey.
The regular meetings are always recorded, and when I get time, I go through and I trim all of this little stuff, there's always so much fun small talk at the beginning of these meetings, and I usually try to trim that off. And then we have a YouTube channel, and I put them up on the YouTube channel so that um, those that weren't able to join or those that come into the understanding of what the Volunteer Genealogist Committee is all about can go back and get bits and pieces of the dynamic conversations we have. These meetings are always discussion based. So this one's a little different though, in that we've got Colleen coming to actually be a focus speaker. Um, we have also got coming up on the 21st, I think it is, Colleen,
I
the
think it
technical
is, yeah.
tips and tricks. That I'm real excited about because it's going to be a 2 hour duration of meetings, but it's going to be four 30-minute sessions. And at that point, we're going to have Clay Client speak about how she manipulates documents and puts together a packet using her computer, like the red underlining and all that. Then we're going to have another girl, like she's only been with us a couple of times. Do you remember her name, Colleen?
Nope.
She's got some really cool ways to do the same thing. So we're gonna have Clay, and then we're gonna have Jan, I think, come in and show her way. And they are all using tools that come with their computers, meaning I have a tendency to go out and buy the full version of Adobe Acrobat, which I adore and I really like using when it comes to processing an application, but that's dollars out of your pocket. So these girls are not using anything like that. Colleen Knights, who's speaking today, will be coming back as the third group, and she's going to be using a Mac. So tools that are available for a Mac is what she's going to focus on how to get together the documents to build an application. These are all really important because e-apps, which is electronic applications software that we can just build the application electronically and go through all the processes and then send it electronically to the national office, is coming out strong. And we're going to do what we can in South Carolina to embrace this new technology. One of the things I'm most excited about in those sessions is Laura Lubinsky is going to finish up the session by highlighting how we can do talk to text. So many times when you look at a document, it's really a good idea to type it all out so that you know what it says. But when Laura announced in one of the meetings, she goes, I'd really rather just read it out loud. I'm like, oh girl, I need this, so she's coming in with that. So I wanted to make that announcement. Jennifer Dorn, thank you. Amanda, I appreciate that. Is the second presenter on the manipulation and of documents to get sent up for. Jennifer Dorn is also going to be our rock star when it comes to e-apps being rolled out because she's done several of them. And honestly, I have not. So I think it will be really good to have her guidance and walk us through the new e-app system once it gets rolled out. So those are kind of my announcements about upcoming meetings. Again, that technology tips and tricks, each one of those will be recorded separately and put up on the YouTube channel. My only other announcement that I have right now before we get started with Colleen's presentation is that I am looking for someone who has taken GEP 1 and 2, preferably 3. I've got a chapter in need that would like to have an assigned volunteer genealogist help them out. And Darlene, I'm throwing the plug out at you, girl. Just think about it. So, if you are interested, some of the cool things you get is that while you are helping this other chapter, you have image access available to you. And there's a pin for that. So if you do, if you were to take on this task, you have this log that you keep and then you can earn a pin. And so those are the fun things other than helping a chapter out and getting to play with dead people, which all of us love doing. So, okay, with that, now,
I mean,
Colleen,
that sounds interesting. I just want to know what are the time demands? Let's use that word.
and it would depend upon the chapter and what they've got going on. And
Okay.
right now they don't have a lot going on, but they also need someone to help train their registrar. So it is a little different assignment than typical. And they all are. And we could talk about it personally, Darlene. I like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Let's have a
like that you've
small
got
chat on
questions.
that and then that'd be great. Okay.
Um, Colleen has asked that you text me your questions instead of interrupting. So while she's talking, I'm going to mute everybody unless you want to go ahead and mute yourself, and then kind of field the questions and at the end of her presentation instead of having our typical discussion-based meetings like we do. Because, well, you guys are getting a treat here because Colleen's going to be giving this presentation at Fall Forum, or she's going to be talking about this. I don't know if it will be the same verbatim
Yeah,
can.
I think I probably am going to revise it slightly, but yes, you're going to get the preliminary version here.
That's,
Uh,
and we thank you for that. I'm really, I'd never met Colleen. I'd heard about her through Barbara Jertz. Just saying, Barbara was excited. She's like, I'm going to have a co-chair for the Lineage Research Committee. And she goes, Susan, I encourage you to get one too. And I have not, but I have had an opportunity to meet Colleen. I really got to meet her more when we went to the GRI in May, and that was a lovely experience. One of the things that made me very interested in Colleen is how many applications did you get approved last year, girl? 31?
it's something like that,
Yeah,
yes. And to be fair, we have a large chapter, and there were some that were there were probably 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 that were streakers, but yes, we
that is just astronomical. And hats off to you. You know,
thank.
that's just really a great feat that you accomplished. And of course, we know when you're doing 31 applications, you are not the girl with boots on the ground recruiting people to join at the same time. There's just not enough hours in the day.
Absolutely not. They just fall in my lap. So, but then I do the work. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
done
you did great.
enjoy.
So again, Colleen is the co-chair of the Lineage Research Society. I'm sorry. I'm over here also trying to field bringing more participants in, so I'm distracted a little bit. But once we get started, like I said, go ahead and chat with me. If you've got questions, maybe I can help answer them instead of interrupting the momentum that Colleen hopes to be building with this presentation. So with that, Colleen, why don't you guys go ahead and mute yourselves if you haven't?
And I'm share my screen.
Oh, I need to do that. Let me
You
help
need,
you.
you need to turn me on
I
here.
do need to turn you on. Let's see.
I just sent you a request.
There you go.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Let's see. I guess the question is okay. Let's try again here. Yes. All right.
Okay.
Hang on 1 second. There is a way to do a portion of my screen. Okay, let's try this. Elephant sketch. Okay, can you see everything, or I'm trying to just share CoChair. Let's try this again. Come on. Into Zoom. Am I still there?
No, the screen left. I mean,
Oh, okay. Let me, I lost me.
you lost you.
View. Meeting. Full screen. There's that. And share. Window. I'm sorry, we didn't,
We didn't try this out, did we?
all right, let's try. All right, let's start with that. And
That looks very Mackie.
okay, and I think everybody's going to see my sidebar with all my comments in it, but excuse the typos. That's what I'll see. Can you see that? Because at one point I could share just a portion of the screen, so you didn't get you had a bigger view. But since I need the script to talk with, I'm just going to have to leave that up there.
All that I'm seeing, Colleen, is just a bar across the center that says FamilySearch AI Full Text Search Presentation.
Okay.
Is that what you want us to see?
Can you see? Did it change screens for you?
No, it did not.
Oh, okay. Here, hang on. Let's change that and that. Go to Zoom and view full screen. Keep on top. Apologies, we don't need that. Do you see my screen at all, Susan?
All I can see is just that bar. There's a
Okay,
white bar across the screen.
my sharing is paused. Stop share. All right, let's start this again. Share. Application windows. Ah, there we go. Got it.
Oh, that's pretty.
Okay, so now you should see just the Zoom workplace. We're in where I want to be. Let's go with that.
It looks a lot better. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Okay, now I think we're down to where we need to be. Okay, here I am. Thanks for being here. And um, let's get started. Before we get into the AI full text search part of the program, let's look at what you see in the primary content of the website, because this is important as well. Once you've been signed in, you get to the landing page. I think, is there anyone here that, now that everybody's muted, I asked this question, is there anyone here that has not been into FamilySearch and used the program? I suppose
They can
most.
send me a text on that and I can.
Yeah, and I'm going to review this anyway because I think it's important to the full concept of the full text search. They've recently added this AI research assistant here at the top. That is not what we're going to be looking at today. Full text search is a program powered by artificial intelligence or AI, but essentially FamilySearch has taken it to a level where it's taken most of the work of understanding the power of AI. It's brought it into the program, so you don't really have to learn that very much. AI itself is a very important program to become familiar with, but that's a different subject altogether. We're going to work with the functions of FamilySearch Full Text Search today. So as I said, this is not the AI research assistant, is not what you want. That's really affiliated with the new individual family tree that FamilySearch has added. I think popular demand has asked for it, but you are not going to get anything from me on that today. The first thing I want to do, though, is to take you to the menu bar across the top. If you were to go to Family Tree, it's going to take you into that global tree that everyone's seen with FamilySearch. And then next is the search menu. They also give you a place for memories, how to get involved, and then activities. We're going to focus on the search menu itself today, just for a couple of minutes. So when you select search, you get this drop-down menu that begins with records. This is probably the most common place you've been as far as searching records in FamilySearch. Based on your criteria, it will look at all the indexed records that FamilySearch has put online over the years. And you probably know Latter-day Saints have began microfilming their records that they've had since the beginning of time, so to speak. And they've started digitizing these microfilms several years ago. The index records are really just a very small percentage of what's available on the website until now, so to in a different format, but it's changing quickly. This is an example of the results you get from using this menu. I searched for Benjamin Whitney in Vermont and got a wide variety of results, different men, different places. Again, you're probably familiar with this. So when you select images, the item below records, you're taken to a spot where you can only enter a place of interest. Here I put in Windham, Vermont, which is where my Benjamin Whitney's from. And as you type, FamilySearch predicts what you're looking for and presents a drop-down list for you to choose from. Their indexing is by town, then by county, state, and country. And sometimes, as you can see here, there are dates to guide you that this record collection might be of most interest to you, or say, for instance, in South Carolina, you might see British colonial America versus South Carolina, United States from 1776 on. And again, you may be familiar with this already, but once you get these results with images, this display in particular gives you different locations within Vermont, your date ranges that these films that you're being shown apply to, the record types, the number of images, and the date created, which is actually the date that this was released digitally to the website, not when they created the film. So from here, you can make a selection, actually go to the microfilm for that group and page through it like you would at the library or the research center back in the olden days, except now that it's digitized, you could do it from your sofa in your comfy clothes, and you've got a load of laundry and you're drinking a beverage of your choice. Coffee in the morning and then whatever you want in the afternoon. And again, I know some of this is repetitive, but as we go through the presentation, I am going to link back to this. So when we jump into the catalog, again, you're searching only by a place, but you also have the additional selection of entering surnames, titles, or authors. You can also, if you have an image group number or a film number, you can switch to that. I've used that occasionally. If you're looking at a reference on an application, you can just plug in the film number that's been referenced there, and that'll take you to the source that was used in that application. Okay, so the results you get when you use the catalog are presented in a different format. The content between this and images at one point was quite different. Images is fairly new in comparison, and there was a certain time a set of films and images that were not included in the catalog. I think they quit adding to the catalog for about 3 years, but I've heard that recently they updated the catalog records and there's supposedly very few gaps between the two. I think I understand the logic behind that, but we don't have time to go off on that tangent. Honestly, I prefer the catalog. Maybe it's because I got used to it over the years, but play between the two. It's something you can decide for yourself which you like better, or if you like to use both. There are literally millions of films that reach globally and billions of records between the catalog and the image collections. Some of them have been brought into full text search, but they're not all there yet. One more thing before we jump into AI full text search. Research Wiki is one of the first places I go to when I'm looking for resources for the place that I'm researching at the moment. Again, you've got the search box that's intuitive and it will autofill with some choices for you. I went to Windham, Vermont again, just to keep consistent with what we were looking at before. You're going to find some general facts about the place. Tells you where the courthouse is, phone numbers, websites. You can see when various records began being collected. Court records in 1825, birth, marriages, and deaths were at the town creation time frame. Land records from 1766 and so on. Anything in blue here is a hyperlink. You've got this menu down the side with the different categories. Now this menu is a set menu that will show up in nearly all of the place pages. It may or may not have content for that particular category, but you can see how wide this reach is for FamilySearch Wiki. And as you scroll down, you'll see the different categories. You're given links to not only family search sources, but also here you see Ancestry. There's a $sign that tells you it's not free. You can also scroll down here to Social Security records, and they give you far more than just Ancestry. Fold 3 is here, where you might find this. I have been really lucky in finding information about churches, archives that I might never have thought of, libraries, depends on what content has been added. This is, as a wiki, to a certain extent has user interface, but FamilySearch has done a great job building this. And again, this is global. So I wanted to point that out. And the other thing, I mean, again, this feeds into our AI resources when we get a little bit further on. So now for the star of the show, we're going to start at the home page for FamilySearch Full Text Search Experiment. You can get to this site a couple of different ways. It's usually myself, I just enter familysearch.org/labs. If you're already in the program, down along the sidebar, you're going to see FamilySearch Labs here. And then you have View Experiments, and you're going to select that. And then it takes you to a page where they have all their available experiments posted. Each of them has their own little box. This one here in the middle is the one that you want to look for. They get rearranged as new content's added, but this with Expand Your search with full text is the one you want to go to. And then just simply hit go to experiment. This is what the landing page looks like today. Again, as I said earlier, they seem to be concentrating on content rather than structure now. This has changed drastically since it was originally released, and I think we're pretty constant with what we're going to see here. The more you use it, though, the more familiar you'll become with the features. So when they rearrange it and add take out old things or move them around and add something new, just look around a bit and you'll find what you're looking for, I'm sure. So as it is today, you'll see they've given you several options for your search criteria. You can use keywords. We've got a box for name, place, a date range, an image group number. Again, we talked about that. They also offer some tips on how to make your search most effective. And I'm going to go through some of those today. Be sure to review this page for new features because this is where you're going to see them. And as with most searches, less is more. That less is more concept is best. You can always narrow your results down once you get in it. I'll show you how we do that. So here I started a search and I added the name Enoch Marsh, and he lived in Ohio. We know that for sure. And then you just hit the search button. Now up here at the top left, you see that we got 414,368 results. So we've got some work to do to trim down the results so we've got something meaningful here. Over to the right, you can help AI limit the results a bit. I'm going to take this a step further and put Enoch Marsh in quotations, so it's looking at it as one name and not looking for Enoch everywhere and Marsh everywhere. I also know that he had a son named Samuel. Even just putting the quotations around Enoch Marsh, we get it down to 298 results up here. And then if we add Samuel with a plus sign, saying that I only want to look for records that have Enoch Marsh mentioning Samuel as well as him in Ohio. And that's one of the search tips that they give you down below here. It says include a specific word or phrase and use the plus symbol. You could also add up in here in keywords, you could put last will and testament in quotations if you're looking for a will for Enoch Marsh. Any phrase that you use should be in quotations also. So once again, it's not looking for each individual word, and that just blows your result kind of all out of the water. You get another 414,000. So we've got that. We're down to 167 results, limiting it to Enoch Marsh with somebody named Samuel in the record. And we might add more definition over here with a range of dates or whatever. But we're going to go over and use these filters here. These are dynamic in that they look at your search criteria that you already have in to the right, and then it should limit the results that you see for options whenever you select one of these filters. I'm going to expand this back out to the 414,000 results because I want you to see how many types of the different types of information that are available to you here. So let's say, for instance, you hit the place bubble, and that is going to open up a list of selections. It's got essentially every geographical region that where there's content in FamilySearch. I'm going to select the United States, and then this creates a list of states to select from. If you had selected Europe, you would have the countries. Asia would do the same. Each of these filters will isolate the appropriate results to the region you select. So here I'm going to select Ohio. And you can see up here the filters are being added to the top, so you can see exactly what you've been asking for in case you get distracted and forget. So now they've given you a list of counties in Ohio to select. We're going to select Guernsey County because we know that Enoch Marsh is there. So these are a couple of the results that they've given us. You can see that they've highlighted Enoch Marsh. You can see some of the text that's included in this document. And this is the AI transcription of the text from the handwriting. So here's two different ones that they've given us. I just want to show you, you can also isolate a certain collection. If you scroll down through here, Enoch Marsh is appearing in Isle of Man in biographies, a biography of Michael Sheeting. Germany, Indiana Wills and Deeds. They may or may not apply, but you might want to scroll through and you might know that he had relatives in Bavaria, and maybe you should go back and look at that to see if it's got any clues about your person. You can filter by record type. This right now, it's showing that there are legal records, religious records, genealogies. This is expanding and literally daily. They are adding content. And once you get to a point where you've got the filters that you want, you hit this apply button. As of late April, there are supposedly 1.6 billion images across 3,400 collections with a focus on English and Spanish content. Within the last couple of months, they've added the Revolutionary War pension and bounty land application files. A lot of those you would find in the Bureau of Land Management. You find the actual content. They are starting to add the actual applications into FamilySearch. They have naval muster rolls. Those are more recent. Most of the ones that I've seen have been 20th century. But again, they're just expanding daily by leaps and bounds. Susan, here's your isolation of dates. You can go in and look at just a particular century. If you're filtering, you're using the bubble at the top to get here in the filter by year. 18th century, you can isolate it to just a particular decade. And then if you wanted to, you can search the entire 18th century if you want to, hit the apply button, or you can go down here and isolate the decade. And then again, hit apply. Let's say, for instance, you wanted to get rid of that time frame, you could just hit this X here to get rid of it. If you wanted to broaden your search back to any time frame. So let's look at another fairly new feature that I found pretty exciting. We're going to look at some actual results as we go along here now too. So here we have the title of the database. You get Common Pleas Journal, Butler, Ohio, court records. Again, you can see the text, the highlights apply to items that were in your filter. Enoch Marsh in Ohio, you can see that's highlighted in each one of these records. Up here at the top, you see a toggle that says Fact View. And when you select that, it's going to change your display. So before we were seeing the actual text, now you're seeing an extract of sorts with the names of the people that are in this document, and it names everyone, whether they're related or not. They may be on page 2 in a record where your document is on page 1. But this is really invaluable. If you had been looking at that full text, you might have totally missed Mary Garner, who happens to be Enoch Marsh's sister. And I'm making that up as I go along, but that's the point of, you know, my thing here. You also get where in Ohio is in this document. Down here, even though it's an Ohio record, you're seeing Union County. You've got Union County and Butler County in the same display, because for some reason, these fall into the criteria we've been looking at. There may be a reference to Guernsey County somewhere. You can switch back and forth between the two of these. This is a side-by-side view. Again, this is the fact view, and this is the full text view. And all you do is switch between, hit this little toggle to switch between the two if you want to go back and forth. So you can look at this, scroll down a bit, switch back to just the fact view or just the full text view. I've found the fact view to be very helpful. But then, you know, I find myself going back and forth between the two, and that's something, again, it's going to be a personal preference. And it depends what you're looking for, too. So let's look at the actual results. This is a document from one of those records. You can see here at the top, there's the title of the film that it's coming from, and really small print down here, you can see the film number. If you were on your own computer, you'd be able to actually see that. It's a record from the Court of Common Pleas 1810 to 1817. What this programming with the search has done is taken us into one of the millions of previously unindexed records on the digitized rolls that already exist in FamilySearch, in the catalog, in the images, in the books. That's what we were looking at the beginning. This has taken you back there, but you've actually searched millions of films at the same time. Beneath the image, this is something you may be familiar with from FamilySearch. You've got your film strip where you can navigate. If this was a live screen, you'd have arrows to the left or the right to page one page ahead or one page back as you need, you know, if you want to scroll around. You've got the highlights again that have Enoch Marsh in the document itself. And then also over here to the right, you can see the same. This is the transcription of what Full Text Search AI has created from this document. So it's reading this terrible old handwriting and providing you with the transcription. The transcription is not perfect, but you can use this toggle, these little icons at the top, to either copy or download the transcription and then clean it up as necessary. I think, as we all know, that officially a transcription is supposed to be identical to the document itself. Page breaks, line breaks in the right places, but this gives you a head start. Or, you know, if for no other reason, so you can actually read some of it that you might not be able to read otherwise. Okay, so at the top, as I said here, you've got, this is your download arrow, and this will take it to a file on your local hard drive that you can open up, or you can copy and paste into your word processor, whether it's Word or Pages or whatever word processor you use. Okay, and then at the top, just to the left of the transcription, you've got this bar of buttons. Each one of them has its own function, and we're going to take a look at those. And I should tell you that most of these icons are not dedicated specifically to full text search programming. These are functions that have been in FamilySearch for quite some time, but they're well worth discussing so that you can use this full text programming to its fullest. If you hover over any one of these buttons, it's going to give you a pop-up description. This one is the grid view, so you can see the different slides. And this is helpful if you want to jump back and forth between different images, you know, for whatever reason you have. This arrow gives you the opportunity to download this picture. You can download it as a PDF record with the highlights that it's given you, or you can tell it to remove the highlights. I personally will download both of them. And there's the red lining. You're not supposed to have the highlights, so you want a clean copy, but this will point out those pieces that made this a result of your search. You also have the opportunity to download just the JPEG. That comes in helpful if you need to adjust the image, crop it, adjust the brightness or contrast, anything that you'd normally do when you're trying to come up with a good image to submit with a record. Now, when you download with JPEG only, you don't get the transcription. And that's something you want to be sure of, because there's another feature here that's very helpful. When you get the transcription, you get a link right back to that document. So you set it aside, you're off FamilySearch. It's like, all right, where did I find that? You get to go back to this transcription, and this link will take you right back to that slide. So the transcriptions themselves, as I said, they're not perfect. It's AI. It's, having a hard time reading it just like we would. It nearly always needs revisions and corrections. This here where I've underlined it, for an example, that word's probably supposed to be arbitration. We know this is a court record. That makes sense. And then you just go into your Word document if you're going to use this transcription and make the change. So now you've got the next button is a slider. This is where I call it sliders, where you adjust the brightness back and forth, or the contrast. You can invert the color images, the image colors, I'm sorry. So if you've got a white on black document, you can switch it to black on white. Takes a whole lot less ink to print. You could rotate the image to the left or the right. And these are kind of normal manipulations you do with most images. These are built in here in the full text search with that icon. Oh, sorry, I went 2 slides. Okay, so above the bar we were just looking at, there's a couple of other choices. You have the citation, very important. Once you hit that, you get this display here. Gives you the citation. You might have to expand it using the More button. Over to the right, you have the ability to copy this citation. And you get the film and image group numbers, and I think we could all agree we could spend 10 minutes discussing whether or not this is the right number to put on your application. I'm going to tell you now that will take a little bit of exploring, going back to the title page of the document set. Susan and I think, have probably spent a half hour talking about it just ourselves. So we'll move on from that. But this is here. Again, you can copy it. It gives you a place to start so you can go back and determine if this is the right number or there's another one you should use, the image group number or the film number. Okay, so the other icon here, this little file box, this is what you would use to add the image to your source box. And we're going to talk about the source box in a few minutes, but there's a couple of other little things I want to show you first. This is something that I personally have found invaluable. This feature is one that I find probably the most powerful and the most exciting. We're back to a display of a document, and the transcription is over here to the right. You see this here says summarize the document. Excuse me, I need a drink. When you select summarize the document up here at the top, AI is going to look at all the data associated with this particular record based on the transcription that it has created and create an abstract for you. I've expanded this so you can see it a little better. It gives you a summary of the document, what it's decided this document's all about. It gives you a set of dates and who's related to that set of dates, names and relationships of the parties involved. And here's another one again. You can see that AI has parsed this text and even identified the fact that David Adams and Braxton Yett are heirs through the daughters of the deceased. The widow's name is identified here. Wife of Zachariah Lee is the daughter of John Lewis. So you're going to have to verify this level of detail. But as a starting point, I think this is fantastic. And the first time I used it, I giggled, to say the least. So let's jump back into that source box. Now that you've found all this stuff, how are you going to keep from having an overload on your cloud or the space on your hard drive? So we're back in this collection of icons at the top, and you're going to hit this folder box, file box. You found a record that you want to save, and you're not positive this is your guy, but you don't want to lose this record until you're sure, or maybe you're sure it's your guy and you definitely want to save it. You can save any record you find in AI or the catalog or images using this source box. If you've saved records to your people on the family tree, supposedly those are automatically added to your source box as well. I haven't tested that one, and since I just cleaned out my source box, I probably will never know. Anyway, add to source box is one of your choices. You click on that, and it gives you a pop-up. This dialog allows you to save it. It defaults to your home directory. This is essentially another set of file folders, but it's housed on the FamilySearch website. The source title is taken from the name of the collection, and you have a place where you can add notes here. It will automatically, as I said, default to the home, or you can create a new folder, or you've got your selection of folders that you've created over time. You can pick one of those and you save it. So how do you find this source box once you've dumped some records into it? Nearly every screen within FamilySearch has your profile and your picture if you have one at the top. And behind that is the source box. So you just click on that and it takes you to your list of sources that you've saved. As you can see here, I've got 26 all. I could just look at a shorter list by going to one of my folders. This is the top level view with the image titles that are automatically saved. And if I select this one, I've got the web page link. I've got the description that I personally put in there, and it tells me that this record has not been indexed. And you can go to the original document with this link here. So it's pretty simple. Again, you're saving space in your own hard drive or cloud. I used to be afraid that these would just disappear on me, but they haven't so far. So I guess we're safe. I've been doing it for about 5 years. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning where we were looking at the catalog. This is a feature brand new as of May, I believe. I'm in the search for Windham, Vermont, and I'm going to go to the court records indexes, and I've selected the general alphabetical card indexed case files. So we click on that, and it brings us to this display, you're probably familiar with. It gives you all the information about the index and where it's located, the film number and your image group number. You've got your little camera that tells you it's digitized, And then to the right here, this is a brand new icon. This is your this tells you that this is now part of full text search. So if you click on this icon, it's going to bring this film up in our full text search, and it has added the image group number over here. So now you can search this particular film using full text search for your person. And it works just like everything else, but you're searching only this film instead of 414,000 results. So this was pretty exciting when I saw it. It appears to me they're getting ready to declassify this as an experiment and make it fully integral part of family search programming. I would be willing to bet that we'll see that over the next 3 or 4 months. And going back to this, if you're now in Windham, Vermont only, if you decided you just you're not finding what you want on this film, you can just wipe out this image group number and use your criteria here, your filters over here. It's just, it's just another route into the full text search. And I thought it was a pretty cool feature. So to summarize, I'm going to encourage you to explore and experiment with this. Maybe start with something you're already familiar with. You'll find some records that you already have, but I hope you'll be amazed by finding something that you've never seen before. More records are being added today. So if you don't find what you're looking at today, look again. According to Family Tree magazine in April, there are now about 1.4 billion images available from over 3,400 collections. They added over 110 million in 1 week. So that takes the coverage of about 25% of the 5.6 billion images online as of the day those statistics were published. I've been told that FamilySearch plans to expand coverage to every unindexed image over time, with priority on records with high genealogical value like court records, tax rolls, undigitized collections, local collections. And so I can only say, again, if you don't find it today, look again, because there's something new every day. You can't break anything, just have at it, and I wish everybody the best of luck with it. And I think that's it. You can take me, I'm going to unshare.
Okay.
I
Colleen,
think
thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Wow. I was wondering, I've been using full text search for a while, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to get to learn? And I did. Thank you.
Good, good. I'm glad you did. I know, it's been around for a while now. Let's see, April of 2024, I think they introduced it at Roots Tech. And then this year they had more to offer, and now they're again concentrating on content. And it's just
The amount of records that you've been sharing that you've heard about, like what was it, 10,000 in one day?
110,000.
Wow.
No, yeah. Was it 110,000? I forget. I just put the
Lots.
statistics in this morning. A lot in one day. 110 million, I think, is what I told you.
No. I do have one question, and that is, Adrian, you can say it, but it's okay. Adrian wants to let you know. Thank you, Colleen. I need to start playing around on Facebook or Facebook. Family Search.
We were just there in I guess April at the library in Salt Lake City, and wow,
Yeah.
it is amazing. The volunteers there are amazing. I'm still looking for a birth certificate for my grandmother who was born in Germany in 1908, I think. 1901, something like that.
I have heard that they're trying to build translation into this as well. So your German record might be searchable within English searches if it's soon.
Let's hope, because my German is pretty sketchy.
Yeah. And Susan, to be clear, it was 110 million in 1 week. That was
wow.
Yes. So
Crazy.
anyway, moving on. Yeah.
Another question too. Oh, I'm sorry. I got one more question. So in the original search, when you go into the labs and then you get into the actual search screen and you put in quotes, the person of interest that you're looking for, and then you go to add a keyword at the next level of search. If you don't put a plus sign, is that going to be a problem, or how does that make it different?
It's not going to be as effective. And one thing that I don't think I said is keywords can be names. Keywords, the search doesn't understand whether it's a name or a keyword or a place. You can put anything in that keyword box. If I'm looking for a pair of names, I'll use one in one, one in the other. You can put the place in the keyword box if you want to. There's all kinds of things, just play with it and see what comes up.
I've been using it without the plus sign.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
like,
And you can, and that'll give you either or, and you might, for all you know that I put in just Samuel in this example. If you put in his last name, he might not come up because maybe it's Enoch and Samuel and Enoch Marsh as a sentence. They're not going to recognize Samuel as a Marsh.
I see.
You gotta
Yeah.
and play with the logic and be the computer if that's possible.
Susan, if I can make a comment from Colleen, I've been using this a lot for place, especially like finding certain things in deeds.
Oh,
So, and also business directories, if there are some.
So do you use the plus sign, Barbara?
I don't as much as Colleen does. And
Well, it depends on the circumstances.
yeah, but now that you have pointed that out, I'm going to try it both ways. And one other thing, Susan, if I may, this actually pertains to your chapter. Your great lineage chair person was looking for a marriage record, and all we could find was an extraction or an index, which had an extraction of a marriage record. And about 10 days ago, it was, I was going to have to go to our local library to go to the family affiliate. And so I decided this morning that I would see if by chance it had been downloaded on Full Text Search. It was not. But this is the point I want to make. Don't forget to go back to the regular family search, because lo and behold, it has been unlocked. So it's now in regular family search. So when the full text, once you get accustomed to it all and get excited about the research, just don't forget to also go to the catalog.
Very good point. Yes, I tend to go to full text search first and then go back.
I do too.
And I'm hardly going into Ancestry. I used to go to Ancestry first, not anymore. This is just invaluable.
I had a situation similar to what you're talking about, Barbara, as far as through the full text search, I was able to find an amazing document set. I mean, 146 pages that I went through 5 times because their whole family was there. And then as it grew, of course, there was more. So then, of course, I closed off my computer, took a couple of days off from that particular case and went back to it. And even though I had the title of this book, this 446-page book on Family Search written down, I could not find it. I could not. I was going to pull my hair out. And so I was like, okay, if I have to, I'll drill back down to it the way that I originally got there. It's not the way my preferred way, but I will do it. And so I was like, wait a minute, this has got me perplexed. So I actually decided I was going to find it. I was going to find it in the catalog instead of just in full text search. And what it was is that it was not available. It was listed in the catalog as not available. So
and that's because of they're constantly taking films in and out because of the copyright issues, not the copyright of the material necessarily, but the copyright of the process of going from film to digital. So there might be a film that's there one week and it's gone because they're renegotiating contracts.
It's a crazy world. We're
And so
getting-
you have to, as a friend of mine who's a software expert, he's always on my case about when you see it, save it right then and there.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Colleen, if I'd saved something like that to my source box, I would have been able to find it probably quicker, but that
Right.
didn't necessarily mean it would be available, did it?
If,
It was funky.
if you save the link, if the copyrights or anything change, I'm not sure your visibility is going to be any better. Then, if it's something that's invaluable, save it to your hard drive or your cloud.
So Colleen just put up a message on our chat board. Fold Tree isn't actually on Family Search, but there are links to it in the Family Search wiki. And Colleen, it depends upon it's not just Fold Tree. There's a lot of websites that are like that.
Family Search Wiki, they're expanding it. At one point, it was mainly just Family Search and Ancestry.
Right.
But I've seen Fold Tree and all kinds, the archives, NARA.
There's some strong US Gen websites still out there, and I'm very thankful for them.
Yes.
I came across a link in the wiki on that, and I charged right over there because I'll support that if I can. So that was kind of exciting. But you're right, it's also nice to know that there is that intermarriage, if you will, of other places that we can. Now, what was that, Melanie? Now, again, like with Ancestry, if you don't have a subscription, or if you're not the library which has the subscription, you're not going to be able to access it.
But if you are at the library, if you have something that you want to look at, you find it in Family Search Wiki, you can go to the library and have your list of things you want to look at.
I was watching a YouTube video that came out just this week about Family Search, and it said that if you're in an affiliate library and you're using Family Search, it'll take you to all of those links, meaning that usually those Family Search affiliate library has access to all of it. So
the advantages to being at the library is you can get to things that aren't free. And there was something that I kind of skipped. If you've ever seen, if you're looking at a list of databases, and I'm not going to share again because if you're looking at the list of databases from Wyndham, Vermont, up at the top right, you're going to see a thing that says Add to Print List, and then to the right of that, select that category of, say we chose court records and we had the two different listings, and sometimes there's 19 of them. You can hit over to the right. You see it says a plus sign and add. That will add it to your print list. You can go to the print list later and say, all right, these are all the databases I need to look at when I go to the library, and print it out. Now that one will disappear on you after a certain period. I don't know how the timing works, so that it times out after a week or 2 days. I know I've created these lists and gone back, and that's why I had the fear of the source box disappearing, because the print list will disappear. But it's really handy to keep track of where you've been. Anyway,
and I've heard you talk about your source box before, so I was really surprised how clean it was.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, I dumped it a while back. And said, I haven't worked on this in years. I need to be able to find this stuff. And, yeah.
I like that though, because you shared at one time that those are the patriots or the prospective members.
Yes, I was using it. I've dumped all those because that's now under Amanda's realm. She just took over as registrar for us.
She's enjoying saying that over and over and over.
I've heard it several times.
5 people I'm working on
Me
right
too.
now.
Okay, I'm getting some really cool stuff here coming in through chat, and I appreciate that. Let me weed through this a little bit. Avery, I want to know, can we access Fold Tree or Ancestry through the DAR library?
When
we're there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know, through the DAR library, are they, because Fold Tree Now, I would think that
They had some things. What did they have?
yeah, Amanda, you did some research there at the library on the computer.
Yeah, there were some things there. I'm trying to remember what was available, but
I think that Fold3 and Ancestry are available there. I think they're considered an affiliate library, and Fold3 is owned by Ancestry.
yeah, and then there was what was it, Newspapers Archive or something like that?
Newspaper Archive is one,
Yeah.
and it's something.
There was something else, yeah.
Because that's part of
I had-
Ancestry, yeah.
I had thought that they
No.
had said that you could access it from home from the DAR website.
There are some things that you can, it's under resources.
Is there?
I believe so. I could be lying.
I just got this from the screenshot from Christine Ramsey, and it's a list. It says if you visit the family history centers at the LDS churches, you will have access to all of the following sites. And there's a list of 19th century British newspapers, Alexander Street Press, American Ancestors, Archive Digital Ancestry Institution version, Archive Digital again, FamNet, Find My Past, Fold3, GenieNet, Goldie May, Irish Ancestors, My Heritage Library Edition, Newspaper Archive, Paper Trail, and Pazilla. So
A lot of those are available. I know Greenville County Library System has those.
Yeah.
It depends on your county library.
now on those at the Greenville Public Library, if you have a library card, can you access them from home, or do you have to be at the
Yeah.
library?
But there are still some that are just institution, like the Ancestry. You can see some stuff, but I think the newspapers.com, I don't remember. There is a way to do it. I was just looking for my paper from the library.
At one point during COVID, they did open it up. I don't think it's open anymore.
Well, I just went to a talk the other day, and the lady passed out. They still have some access, but I think they have scaled down what you can access from the house. Let's see. All right.
Yeah, Christine is sharing that you have to be on their network usually. Christine, do you mean for the library?
Yeah, a lot of times the library Wi-Fi, or if you're at one of the LDS churches, there's actually a Chrome extension that you can, if you bring your own laptop, because a lot of people don't like to use another person's computer, or another computer is just hard. So you can actually bring your own laptop, and there's a Chrome extension that you can add to it, so that all you have to do is get onto the Wi-Fi in the church, and you'll have access to all of the programs.
Mike.
I know I'd forgotten about that. I know my experience at the DAR library is that it was kind of like in that quasi place. I had access to some things because of being on the network, but not as powerful as being on one of their, hard
On
line.
one of their computers, yeah.
What are you showing us, Adrian?
I don't know if you can see this. This is from the Greenville Library, and you get on their network and sign in with your library card, and then you go to this.
Yep.
And then they have a lot of stuff available that you can search from home.
That's cool.
Yep.
And every library there is good libraries have a list like that.
Yeah.
Pam Snyder shared, if your library is not a FamilySearch library, you could request they become one, and it's free.
Did not know that.
I don't know.
It takes a little bit of a process, but it's to the benefit of both parties.
We really need it here in Aiken. It's sad.
Well, like Spartanburg County did it a long, long time ago, and it's just fabulous. And another thing, some of the libraries that have branches, if they have like Ancestry.com, you can go into the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yep. You can do that at the churches too.
And so, don't forget to ask that if you don't feel like going in.
We were told when we were in Salt Lake City that the closest affiliate was Spartanburg.
Well, yeah,
for you guys. Barbara, you said you wanted to share something from Lisa Louise Cook.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So Lisa Louise Cook in the very beginning with AI was a little bit hesitant, and that was because there was so much made up stuff. But she has been going through all the different programs like ChatGPT, all the different programs, and learning about them. She just did her first premiere presentation on AI, she is a big fan of Grok. But the thing that, if you have a chance, I don't know when she will put this particular presentation on YouTube, but usually she does put her presentations eventually. She spent a tremendous amount of time talking about the applications of AI. For example, using AI to write a research plan, using AI, of course, to research, facial recognition. And she gave an example of how she solved her own family mystery, because most of the time you end up buying facial recognition programs. I saw one last year that was up to about 95% accuracy. And I got to talk with her privately, and she said that you don't even need to do that, and that you can take the AI using the facial recognition really aids. But I just didn't want to encourage you to, if you don't have a subscription to her genealogy gems, look for her on YouTube, because her presentation was very practical. And then, if I may just say, the Lineage Research Committee, my Vice Chair Colleen and I will be reading everything we can. I had to do that before the SIP. Lineage Research has changed tremendously in how we will be processing requests. They're different. They no longer have regional teams. They've divided it up into all kinds of things. So explore the Lineage Research on the DAR website, because there's lots and lots of very specific information and lots of resources. So thank you, Susan, for giving.
Oh, no, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. And Colleen, thank you for sharing such a great presentation. That was amazing.
Barb, you said it's Grok.
Yes, GROK. She talked about ChatGPT. There was also another gentleman that was at this presentation. I'm going to forget his last name. He's Drew. He's from Florida. He has his own podcast. And
Drew Smith.
Thank you. Thank you, whoever said that.
Rhonda.
Drew did a lecture on it. I think he and Lisa were both kind of worried about, they're presenting the same thing, but they were very complimentary. Drew is a former librarian, and he has this podcast. Is it Two Guys or something like that? At any rate, I think he posts a lot of things on YouTube, and he presents in a very easy manner to understand.
Grok is the AI tool that X, formerly Twitter.
Okay. I remember.
So it's still fairly new, and it's still learning.
And that's the thing.
But it's part of that format, part of that software.
And Amanda, thank you for saying that. Lisa Louise Cook really likes it right now for genealogy applications. And of course, she's the queen of Google research. And apparently it blends very well with what she does with Google research. So she really encouraged the audience to check out Grok, but to check out all of the different ones.
Well, from what I've seen, it lays out the explanation that it's come up with in a very easily readable format. I mean, I've just seen some screenshots of it where someone's asked a question and then the answer was just laid out to where people could really understand it. But I know it's just on that particular, it's just on that program.
And she took, I think, 4 different programs, if I'm remembering correctly, and used her goal, whatever her research goal was, she showed it on every single one of these 4 platforms. And it was amazing the differences. And like I said, I think she's probably gravitated towards it because it works for her. It works for what she does with Google.
I can understand her hesitancy. I know I have been hesitant of e-apps. And when I actually sat down and talked with somebody in a group, it was one of these meetings about the experience with e-apps. I'm like, we're already there. What I'm saying, Barbara, is that a lot of times it's easy to judge and say, I can't go there. And yet when you actually start exploring it, it opens up so much more, and it's comfortable, more comfortable than you would think. Like the full text search. So at first I didn't know how comfortable that was going to be. And yet now it's my first place I go to anymore.
You know,
Yeah.
one of the interesting things about Grok that's helpful that some of the others don't have is that if you ask it, for example, put in a name and say, tell me about this person, and then they search all over looking for information. But at the end, they tell you their sources.
Yes.
They say
Nice.
exactly
Thank
where
you.
they
That's what I
got this
mean.
information from. They'll say it was from an obituary, it was from a newspaper article, it was a certificate. So that's really nice to have the sources for where this came from, because then you can go back and say, well, is it relevant or not, or is it accurate, whatever.
That
Yes.
is so important, Mickey.
It is.
Yeah. Chat GPT does a good job with the sources too.
It does.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It does.
Does now, I haven't used a lot of this, the AI things.
Susan, it's
I know,
amazing.
right? But the chat GPT, does it give sources, Mickey,
Yes.
like you were talking about?
Yep. It gives the sources and you can click on it. It'll usually have a little icon next to it saying source or sources. You can click on it and it'll tell you all the sources for it.
Well, I know when I talk to my Android phone, it does that. Is that the same thing?
What's that?
When I talk to my Android phone, it does that. Is that the same thing? I mean, I'll be driving down the road and I'll go, hey, Google,
In some
just
fashion, it
Google.
probably is. Yeah.
What's that?
In some fashion, it probably is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does have that little note, little thing you can click on it to go to that particular place where they're getting it. So it doesn't really give the sources, but it will give you a link to go where it found the information. So,
I think.
but I usually just talk about recipes with that guy.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place to
Meal
start.
planning.
Right?
It actually, I mean, I had all kinds of information trying to explain um, why this guy's land grant said Granville, but it was really in Orangeburg. I mean, I sent you my final outline on it.
Right.
A lot of that I had put it into Chat GPT 3 or 4 times. It actually pulled things from South Carolina archives databases for me, and it was a winner because they got verified. So
Yay. Well, wonderful. Are there any other questions or comments, you guys? I mean, I've so enjoyed this time together. And again, thank you, Colleen.
oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. It was
Can't wait to see you at Fall Forum.
yeah,
It's coming right up.
I
Yeah.
gotta kind of revamp it a little bit. I mean, do you have any idea how long I went? Probably about 50 minutes, I think.
Well, when I process the video, I'll let you know how long it is.
I
There you
was
go.
timing it for you, Colleen, because I was thinking about that and I lost track.
I
But I know you did
I
at
don't
least.
think it actually started till 10
Yeah,
after.
'cause-
So
No, we didn't.
Right.
Yeah, we
I think
didn't.
you did like 35 or 40 minutes.
That's it.
Okay, and I talked
Sounds
fast.
about
I
right.
knew there was
No, you didn't.
I didn't. Okay, good. I was trying to have that happy medium because I know some of this material is not new. Most of the material wasn't new as far as the yeah. So anyway,
Well, one of the girls that was in the room, she's still with us, said she's never tried it before. So, I mean,
Yep.
yeah, good
Good.
stuff. Yeah. All right, you guys,
Thank you.
I'd love to see any of you that would like to join us at the Saturday 9 a.m. Zoom
Is
call.
that every Saturday or which Saturday is
The
that?
third Saturday of every month. They were both
Third,
on the
okay.
third, which means sometimes the Saturday falls before that Tuesday and sometimes after.
And
Yeah.
you said that's at 9 a.m.?
It's at
no,
9
no.
a.m.